it's time to review the powerful teaching techniques we've taught you so far. Let's start with class yes. This is our attention getter, and you use it whenever you need your students' attention, which is all day long. All right. You teach your students that however you say class, that's how they say yes. So, if you say class, they will say yes. If you say class, 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 they will say yes, yes, yes. You say classity, classity, they will say yesity, yesity. If you think about it, you can always find some different ways to say the class yes. We need to use variety with the class yes because we use it so often. So, use class yes the same way 4 or 5 times and then come up with a different one. Class! And they'll say, yes! And they'll laugh just like I did. Here's a sign that goes with the class yes. Put it up as soon as you introduce this really powerful principle. Let's think a little bit more about this class yes. I mentioned that you need to have variety because you use it so often. Here's a really good way to introduce variety in the class yes. After you've been using it for a few months, teach your students linked concepts. What's that? I'm going to show you. Tell your students, if I say 4 plus 4, I want you to say 8. Or if I say capital of California, you know we've covered that, so I want you to say Sacramento. Or if I say part of a title, 3 little, what will you say? And the kids will say, pigs. You see, with linked concepts, you can use the class yes in so many different ways and review course material. What's better than that? I think you're going to love it. Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about the 5 classroom rules. Here they are with the gestures. Rule number 1, follow directions quickly. Rule number 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule number 3, raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. Rule number 4, make smart choices. And rule number 5, keep your dear teacher happy. Here are some signs that we created to go along with our 5 classroom rules. Let's make a few last points about these 5 classroom rules. First of all, you've got to practice these rules a lot. The more you practice the rules, the more the concepts will turn into actual classroom behavior. Here's our second point, and it's a word of caution. We've said that when you see 2 kids who are talking, what you can do if you want to is say, Rule 2, and your class is trained to chorus, Rule 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Now, after you've done this for a while, something else might happen. If you've got some challenging kids, they'll see 2 other kids talking. And the challenging kids will say on their own, Rule 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Now, on the one hand, you want to say, you know, that's great, but I'll be in charge of Rule 2 and I'll let you kids know when we need to focus on Rule 2. In fact, you might have to repeat that a few times and just get your kids used to They're only going to talk about Rule 2 when you give them the cue to talk about Rule 2. Here is an important lesson that I've learned. Don't go into teaching if repeating yourself bugs you. Why? Because teaching is repeating. Yeah, it is.